Great to have you along for the ride. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Really glad to have this man back. Country music superstar. He is the guy over at the Redneck Riviera. And, of course, you know him, John Rich. John, how are you? Good to see you again.
Hey, Joe, doing good, man.
Can't get it out of my head. I don't know what key it's in, but it's in a nice minor key. Revelation. This song is sweeping the nation. Everybody's got to go and check it out. Go download it. Go and see it. The video is in beautiful 4K. It's amazing. Plus, our good friend Nick Searcy is never afraid to play the bad guy. What was the impetus for this song, Revelation? It's amazing.
Well, so it was one of those songs that I did not walk around for a week or two thinking about, I should write a song about that, which is how I write most of my songs. Is an idea will strike me, and then I'll spend some time thinking about it. This one came just all at once, like a download, and it's a very unique song to put out because the song is talking about what the book of Revelation and the Bible speaks of what the earth's going to be like in what we call the end times. And I thought to myself, when that song hit me, I was like, how do you write a song about that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, that is a very intense book of the Bible, probably the most intense book.
Yes.
But nevertheless, it needed to be written. And so the song basically depicts spiritual warfare. So we all get caught up in left and right and culture war and, all the stuff going on. But the Bible says very clearly that we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and powers and the rulers of spiritual darkness of this earth. It says that's the real war. And so this video is talking about what the Bible says ultimately is going to happen here on this planet, and about the war and the battle that is actually raging just on the other side of what we can see here in the physical. So that's quite a thing to write a song about. So I put it out. I did a big interview with Tucker Carlson when the song came out, and it went absolutely crazy. And to be honest with you, it's the first song I put out in a very long time that none of the main networks, the conservative networks, wanted me to come on and sing.
Wow.
I know. I said, well, why won't they let me come on and sing this? It's a song about a book in the Bible. They said the lyrics are too abrasive. I said, those aren't even lyrics. That's coming straight off the pages of the book. Like
right.
What? And so in the second verse, it says, brimstone upon their heads and millstones around their necks. They'll feel the shaking when the trumpet sounds. And that's talking about all the truly wicked people in the world, that there won't be anywhere for them to even run. And we all know the story Jesus told about you'd be better off to have a millstone tied around your neck and cast into the sea than ever harm one of these children. He was talking about kids. And so we know how many children are being harmed in our country and around the world. So to me, it seems like we're right on the doorstep of a lot of these things potentially happening. And I think that's why the song is taken off. I think people, whether they're a Christian or an atheist or whatever they may be, somewhere in between, they all know something's not right. They can feel it. Your soul can feel it. Your spirit can feel it. They don't really know what it is. Most people go, it's probably just politics, or it's probably just culture or whatever. Well, it's a whole lot bigger than that. That's why they can feel it where they can feel it. So, this song has really, really done some pretty incredible things.
It depicts an amazing good versus bad, good versus evil that has been around for all of time. It shows the literal, really good spiritual holiness, the Lord, against the devil, the bad, the evil. But figuratively, and it's because it's not, I hope end times are way far away, John. I hope it doesn't happen anytime soon. But it appears as though we're there because of that one indication you do in the song, and it's from Scripture, as you said. We've got a vice presidential nominee right now who literally opened his state to hide minors and help them get so-called gender, change operations. You got a guy who's pretending to be good, who has said, if you're a parent, I will not let you know about the child molestation or mutilation we're going to do to your kid. I mean, to depict that in a song is not easy to do. I'm glad you've got the fortitude to do it. But when conservatism or so-called conservatism turns on you, we realize they never really were. When those networks won't do what you and I are doing right now, and I played the video before we came out today, so my audience has already seen it, my audience on the radio has already heard it, so I'm not afraid to do it. But when you've got people who pretended they were your friend this entire time, and you realize that they won't even show this that is biblical, I mean, it really makes you think, doesn't it? I hope we're not near end times. You don't think we're there, right?
Well, what's interesting about that question, let's back up to what you said about Walls, about what he's done, especially concerning kids. There's a passage in the Bible that says in the end times, towards that end, um, everything good will be called evil, and everything evil will be called good.
Right.
The total inverse will happen.
It's happening.
We're in the middle of it, man. I mean, that's what it is. So, to your other question, why people don't want something like Revelation being sung on their network or playing it on a radio station? I don't think any radio stations have played the song. Is because it scares people to death. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
if that's really true, I'm in trouble. Or if that's really true, there's a lot of trouble coming. I mean, it rattles people. Most preachers don't even preach out of Revelation. They don't want to get into that. But we're in a new era now. So you asked a question, do I think we're close to it? It feels like we are, but I will tell you something I know factually that's true. That's not an opinion or a feeling. And that is that technology has now advanced to a point in our lifetimes where prophecies in the Bible are now possible to manifest in the flesh. One of the best examples of that is what we all know called the mark of the beast, where it says in the end times, if you don't bear the mark of the beast, you won't be able to buy or sell, meaning they will control your money.
Right.
And so the beast, you could call that the system that's in place at that point. Probably it is a globalist system at that point because it's the whole planet it's talking about. Well, up until not that long ago, that just seemed like sci-fi. Well, how is it possible to track everybody in the world? And how is it possible to know what people buy and what people sell? That's impossible. Is that impossible, Joe?
No, it's not.
Of course not. It's happening right now. You look at central bank digital currency and you look at just the advancements in tech, whether it happens today or 1,000 years from now, the pieces are now on the board to allow for these prophecies to take place.
Look at what just happened to truckers who love my show in Canada. Yep. They shut down their bank accounts. They couldn't buy groceries for their kids because they dared shut off their trucks and peaceably say we're not okay with this. So
just expand that to the whole planet. Just expand
that's what
that
they
to the
do.
Whole planet. Yeah, I mean that's what it says. So this is now reality. At least the mechanisms to make these things happen now exist. So I think that's one reason why this message of this song has gone so far and wide. I mean, the video has many millions of views on it now. I'll check in on it every couple of days and go, wow, it got 200,000 more views. I mean, I put the song out a month ago. So it's being found by people. I've had South Korea, Australia, Ireland, Japan, all over the world. People are hitting me up. They don't know anything about country music or who I am, but they saw that song and video and start reaching out and hitting me up. So it's real as a heart attack what that song's talking about. The question is, when is the timing of it? But it is an immediate thing. Those passages in the Bible now, when you read them now, when you go read that now, it's like the words just explode off that page because you read it and go, oh, I know exactly what that is. Whereas our parents and grandparents, they couldn't even imagine what that is.
You know, it's interesting. It's music superstar John Rich. Follow him, johnrich.com, redneckriviera.com. Go follow him on all the social media and get Revelation right now. What's interesting about what you said about the mark of the beast, that could be, the mark of the beast could be you have a pride flag in your stupid profile online somewhere. And that says, I'm in the group. I'm part of what everybody needs to be. And if you're not part of this, then you're canceled or excluded.
Well, it's more specific than that. It is. When you go read about the mark of the beast and what that is, it literally says no man will be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast, the mark of the system. No man. It says whether free or slave, rich or poor, no human being will be able to do commerce at that point unless you have submitted to the system that's in place. I mean, what a frightening aspect that would be to deal with. But that's what it says is going to happen. And so knowing that tech now exists, I think that's why a song like this coming out when it's coming out is having such impact. It has really gotten a lot of people to think and pick their Bibles back up and start reading it for themselves.
As a musician, I wonder how it works. I know that you had, it was like a download to you, the words, I'm assuming. Did you already know that it's got to be a song in a minor key to give that specific feeling?
No, I could hear it. I know you're a musician.
Oh, you heard everything.
I didn't hear the verses, but I heard the chorus.
Gotcha.
And so all of a sudden it's just boom, there it was. And it was there in such a strong way, like the hair stood up on my arm. Like I had a physical reaction of, what is that? And I could hear that chorus in my head. I'm like, well, I guess I better write this down before I forget it. So grabbed a pencil and a notebook, pulled an old Gibson off the wall. And in about an hour, it was done. The whole song was done. And then the question was, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I mean,
Yeah.
what is this song? What do you even do with something like that? And the message back was, make it as great as you can and then shove it out there as hard as you possibly can, and I'll do the rest. And so I did what I was told to do, and it's pretty incredible, man, how many millions of people now have been exposed to this.
Go listen to it, download Revelation, go watch it, go see the video. Let's add a few million views to it. It is, of course, John Rich. How would Johnny Cash, I told you this before and you didn't get mad at me, so I'm glad. I'm not a big country guy. Love your music. But growing up, I was an Elvis guy. I mean, I was a jazz guy once I got into the saxophone. But having said that, Johnny Cash was my go-to guy starting at 5 years old. Johnny Cash meant everything to me because for me, he was telling stories. It wasn't about what sort of music it was. It was about how he was relating it to me even at that young age. Would he survive? Would he have been anything in this condition that we live in today, the cancel culture?
He would not have been supported by the system.
Right.
No way. Would he have survived? Oh yeah, he would have been massive, because the one good thing about tech is we can go around all these big companies. We can go straight to the people. And Johnny Cash wrote a couple later in his life. He was an old man. One that says, "When the man comes around." I know you know that song. Go look up "When the Man Comes Around." He's talking about Jesus.
It's awesome.
When Jesus comes around. And he's got another one that says, "Sooner or later, God will cut you down. You can run on for a long time, but sooner or later, God will cut you down." So it's interesting that later in his life, he started writing those kind of songs, and they're still some of the most impactful things. They're still impacting people today when they run across those songs because they're so true. And he just wasn't playing any games. And so I'm no Johnny Cash, but this particular song, Revelation, it is in that frame. It is definitely no holds barred, coming straight at you. When you see Michael the Archangel squaring off with Lucifer and I'm standing in the middle, because what are they fighting over, Joe? What's the battle for? The battle is over us.
Yes, the hearts and minds of the people.
It's over humanity.
Yeah.
They one side wants to drag you to where they're going, and the other side wants you to come along with them, and they are willing to go at it with everything they've got, and all the way to the end. And that's what that video depicts. I don't think there's ever been a video quite like that one.
No, it's amazing. People have to go see it right now. It's John Rich. John, how have you learned how to navigate technology? Technology is the bane of the existence of I think good people. It was for a long time, but you've learned to utilize it. And back to Johnny Cash, and maybe even to Elvis, or maybe even to the Righteous Brothers. People of a new generation are discovering artists that they never would have heard of before had there not been technology. I love seeing these reaction videos to great music in our history that they otherwise wouldn't have known about. So how did you learn how to navigate that in such a way that you're getting millions of views, even though the mainstream doesn't want you to? How are you still getting it out there?
Well, the first thing you have to do is not be afraid of the pushback.
Okay.
You have to get over the fact that you're worried about people calling you bad names, looking at you funny, trying to run you out of town or whatever. You have to get over that part. That's step one. If you manage to get over that part, then you just hit them right in the mouth with the truth over and over and over and over with no apology. Boom, boom. You like that? Here's another one. Wham. And if you're doing that, the reaction that you get from the general public is, thank God somebody's telling the truth out here, because we're drowning in lies. The Republicans lie, the Democrats lie, everybody lies, the media lies, everybody. It's just lie, lie, lie. Nobody knows what the real truth is. So if you actually say the actual truth, it has a way of cutting right through all that nonsense, and people want to hear that.
And it gives people permission, doesn't it? Because a lot of people are like you and me. We know the truth. You and I have a platform, you way bigger than mine, but I've got a pretty sizable platform too. We're not afraid to say it. And then when people hear John Rich say it, or when they hear me or Hannity or anybody else say it, they say, well, wait a second, I just got permission. I can actually say this now.
Well, I mean, fear is contagious, but so is courage.
What a great point. It is
poison.
It's John Rich. Go to johnrich.com. So those frat brothers, or whoever they were in North Carolina that saved the flag that day from the stupid, the uprising, 65%, by the way, were not from college campuses. They were outside agitators. But they saved the flag in North Carolina, and you made a promise that you were gonna do a concert, for them, and it's happening. Flagstock is happening on September 2nd. Tell me about this.
Yeah, I was so struck by those young men's courage to stand there and make sure our flag did not hit the ground. And they were having bottles thrown at them, sticks, rocks being spit at, the whole thing. And they just stood there. And young people get a bad rap in this country. Everybody says, oh, the young people, It's just a total loss with all the young people. That's not true. It's just the ones you see on TV acting like idiots, and you think that that's how they all are, and they're not. And so
Right.
these guys represent fine young Americans, fine young spirits. And so I wanted to do something nice to say thank you. So I said, I'll come play a little show for you. Well, that's turned into a really big deal. So Labor Day, September 2nd, we're going to Chapel Hill, and all the frat boys are coming, and all their fraternity brothers and sorority sisters and all that. They're all coming out with a lot of special guests. It's big and rich. It's Five for Fighting, which is a huge rock band. Aaron Lewis is coming. And then we're going to cap the whole thing off with Lee Greenwood singing God Bless the USA.
Oh, wow.
We're going to live stream everything on Rumble. It will be, you'll see it promoted. Just follow me. I'm on Truth at John Rich or X at John Rich. And I know you'll talk about it too. You can just tune in and watch it. But we're going to celebrate these boys. Action like that should not go unnoticed. They should know how much we appreciate that. And I hope that young people around the country, when they see Flagstock and they see a bunch of people going, right on, guys, way to go, that they get some courage and go, you know what? That's how I'm going to do it too. Because guess what? That's right. And people do appreciate that. So I think it's more than just a good time that we're going to have with music. It really means something that we're acknowledging this.
It really does, because the mainstream and the vast majority of those who control media and music and everything else, they'll only push the left agenda, and it's genocide and it's bad and all this other stuff. But it's not okay to go and do this massive protest, stopping people from educating or getting educated, and to see some young people say, you know, we're just going to go and get it. Going to go and get our flag and save it. We're going to stand up for something. And I love that you're standing behind what you said you would do. By the way, those who don't know, Aaron Lewis is from Stained, so another big music star there as well. You've got a new album with Big. Tell me about this. And of course, you with Big and Rich will be performing there at Flagstock as well. Tell me about the new album. Is it out now?
Well, we've got a new song we're going to release called Freedom Road. And it's the first new song Big and Rich has done in a long time. So we've been out touring all this time. I actually have 2 shows this weekend. But this is a song that Big Kenny and I wrote that we think is very apropos for the times. It's talking about, you know, the freedom road that you're on. The only peace I know is on this freedom road. Like, there is no peace without freedom. That's a statement.
I love it.
It's a cruising kind of song. It feels great, but the lyrics really mean something. And we're looking forward to putting that out. We'll put that out probably towards the end of September, early October.
Music superstar, also great American. It's John Rich. Go to johnrich.com. Follow him everywhere at John Rich. And make plans to go to, or at least watch, Flagstock. John, thanks for always making time for me. Let's do it again soon, my friend. Thank you.
Anytime, Joe. Always good to see you.
All right, brother. We're back after this. Stay right here.